Good morning, everyone. I'm Jeff at Mocha Origins, and this is our July MokaBox. We have two incredible guests that are part of the industry. Mati from Cameroon, he represents and works with the farmers who grow the beans that we really love and bring in from Cameroon. And Genevieve, our chocolate sommelier, is on the call as well, and she's going to be doing an incredible pairing with our coffee and our chocolate for July's MokaBox. And before we dig in, for those of you who are new to MokaBox is really our kind of our flagship offering. The proceeds from our MokaBox subscriptions go directly to our work overseas. And so MokaBox, to me, it's kind of like the best synergy or reflection of our humanitarian intention, made specialty craft chocolate and quality coffee. And every month we do a video. It's our digital unboxing, and we're going to dig in really soon. Before we do that, I want to introduce Mati Fancha, who is our dear friend and partner in Cameroon. Good morning. Good afternoon, Mati.
Hey, Jeff. Good afternoon.
And Mati works in an incredible community in the northwest region of Cameroon, in Boyo Division. And one thing that really resonated with me when we first spoke was it's beyond the beans. There's a social intention behind the work that you're doing with farmers and youth in that community. And I would love to hear a little bit more about that and your ultimate mission.
Okay, Jeff, it's a long story, but I'm sure we're going to try to soundbite it. I started working with farmers way back 1998, that kind of time frame. And it was after I'd been in an industry which is, I thought, in my opinion, was very, very exploitative. We made a lot of money in the petroleum industry, but I saw a lot of a lot of poverty, abject poverty in many of the countries where we worked. So when I left that industry, I just wanted to spend my time and spend my life to see if I can improve how we interact among ourselves around the world. Well, coffee happened to be a very important crop in my home area. And I was living in the US at the time, and it just made sense to me to link the production of coffee and the market of coffee in the US. If farmers can get their coffees directly to end users like you in the US, then we don't have to be looking out for charity or for fair trade or for anything. We can build those relationships directly. And that was the mission right from the very beginning. For over 20 years now, we've been working at building very, very direct relationship with people who can give value to our coffee and to position ourselves as professionals. That's the only way that I find that this can be a sustainable initiative. If farmers don't give themselves that value, then they'll always work looking at money, and the people with the money are never going to let it go for nothing. And so we were already caught in a very, very negative spiral in terms of volume. As you can see, the production of coffee in Cameroon today, Arabica coffee, is around 2,000 tons, dropping from some maybe 40,000 tons 20, 30 years ago. So we have a long way to go to build it back up. And the only way we can build it back up is by having this kind of direct professional relationship along the value chain of the coffee. So that's how we started. We're very, very determined to work for ourselves. We're not looking for handouts. We're looking to participate in something that brings value and play our part, put something on the table, just like you mentioned, Jeff, and then trust that you're going to do your best to make our coffee and our products shine. And then we can both benefit from what the end users and the end consumers are paying for our coffee. So that's kind of the short version.
That's a great version of it. It's really beautiful story and intention. I love that you use the word professionals as well, that farmers are not charity cases and they're not out to seek aid. They're agricultural entrepreneurs, and they're part of the supply chain of products that the world consumes. And so creating a more reciprocal relationship and even relationship, fair relationship is important. And so I really love the position that you're taking with your farmers there.
Well, if things remain the way they were, probably there'll be no farmers in about 2-3 years growing coffee, especially Arabica coffee, which requires a lot of work. So, and then the majority of these farmers, my age or older, very few of them are younger than me, and I'm in my late 60s. Okay, so you can imagine when they die, their farms get sold off. The people who take over, the younger people, and that was the biggest challenge I found, to try and bring that dignity back into farming as a professional professional occupation, and using myself as an example. So when you talk about our company, I don't own the company. I don't even want to own the company. I tell farmers it's our thing. We're building it up together, and I want to benefit from my coffee very well. And if I do that and you're working with me, then you'll benefit very well from your coffee.
Beautiful. Well, I cannot wait to get back to Cameroon and head right to Boyo with you and see your projects there soon. It's been a long time since I've been basically allowed to enter, and because of the political crisis. But do appreciate the background and the partnership, and really you are to thank for the beans that we're now distributing largely throughout here on the East Coast. And so with that, without any further ado, I'd love to have Genevieve take the lead and let us break open to our boxes. I've waited a whole month for this, so.
So this month we have two amazing bars that obviously I had never tasted before. It's a bar from Ghana, and I think it's the first time that you are working with these beans.
That's correct. Yeah. So we started experimenting and working to profile these beans months ago. About 6 months in the process. It usually takes a solid month or two of real focus on the roaster to nail the flavor profile. Elevating fruit qualities, or reducing and balancing astringency and bitter notes. And so, but yeah, this is the first bar that we've released from Ghana. And it's now a base chocolate that we're going to use in our toffee almond bar as well as our sea salt bar. And this month we're featuring it in our MokaBox as a 72% dark.
Awesome. Yeah. It's so for the tasting of this bar, I just want to say that, of course, tasting is a very personal thing, and when you taste it, you might find different notes that I find. But there is a way to enhance the tasting experience, and that's something I just want to tell you about a little bit, just so you get really like a lot out of this bar at first. So, there are a ton of flavor compounds in cocoa, actually even more than wine. There are hundreds, like some say more than 500, even like up to 700. It's a lot. And I'm not going to taste 500 different flavors out of the bar, maybe 3. That would be great. But, it's good to know. It's interesting. It's something that not a lot of people know about chocolate. And so I just want to explain just a little bit like how the flavor distributes on your tongue, because it's also interesting to know that when you put a piece of chocolate in your mouth. So generally, all the sweet flavor will show up on the tip of your tongue. The salt is more on the side in the front. The salt flavor. The sour flavor is on the side in the back of the tongue. And then the bitter shows up in the center back of the tongue. And just the middle of the tongue generally is more like for the umami, savory flavors. So it's just, information. It's fun to know when you taste. So when I taste a bar of chocolate, I go through basically 4 or 5 steps. So the first one is that we actually use all our senses. We first look at it, obviously. It's really interesting to look at the color of the chocolate, because sometimes you will find that, this bar is actually really dark, but sometimes you will find that you can place this 72%. Mine is smaller because I ate it already a little bit this morning.
I'm going to catch up to you.
I won't feel so guilty. So you might have a bar that's 72% that's dark like this, next to a bar that's 72% that's like half, the more like a milky color or a redder color, etc. And it depends on the bean itself. It's the bean that's gonna, give it this characteristic color. So I'd be interested in actually looking at a bean from Ghana eventually, when we have the possibility of seeing each other for real. And not
that's a great idea. We should actually ship a bean in every box so people can see that.
Exactly. I really like to do that, separately. It's interesting. So anyway, first, so you look at it and you look also at the shine, because it tells you about the quality of the temper of the chocolate. So, the temper is what gives the chocolate the snap and the shine, of course. So after you look at it, you listen to it. So talking about the snap, you listen. I don't know if you can hear it. So it has a really nice snap. It means it's really well in temper. And after you snap it, it's still not really warm enough to release enough flavors. So thank God the cocoa butter in the chocolate is it melts at body temperature. So what I do generally is I rub the chocolate in between my fingers, or sometimes I just rub it a little bit on my hand to release a little bit of warmth so I can get more of the flavor in my mouth. And when that's done, then I put a small piece in my mouth. And so some people will tell you that they just let it melt. I think for me, it's more important to chew it 1 or 2 times to really get a lot of chocolate. You want the chocolate to be everywhere in your mouth. The roof of your palate is the warmest place in your mouth. So it's nice to first push it against your palate to really help, with the melt. But mostly move it around. Move it around while breathing through your nose. 60% of your perception of flavor is actually through your nose. If you pinch your nose, you're only going to get 40%. So the breathing is extremely important. And the more you breathe through your nose while you let the chocolate melt, move it around, the more flavor you're going to feel. And so talking about flavors, on this one, also I forgot to tell you that you should also smell it, because that's pretty important. I was too eager to
smell it and not accidentally just eat it when it's so close to my mouth. But yeah, it's true.
I mean, the smell of this chocolate for me, I just smelled something first pretty earthy and woody and fudgy, but so that was my first reaction, with a little tinge of fruit. But when I started melting it in my mouth, when I started chewing it, the red fruit quality really showed up first. And that was interesting to me. Sometimes you can really smell something different than what you're going to taste. And in this one, I don't know, it made me think of a red fruit jam, or also dried fruits, maybe a fig jam, or even raisins, prunes. There's a dried fruit quality to it that I liked a lot, that mixes with the woody aspect. I can walk you through the coconuts. So this one is your limited edition coconut salted almond. And so when you open this one, you have so I suppose you ground the coconut with the beans at first.
Exactly. Yeah, when we make this chocolate, we start with Sierra Leone nibs and sugar. And then we add in to the stone melangers coconut. So it's powderized whole coconut. It's not, still has the coconut fat, and that's really why we get a really nice creamy melt. But that for 4 days stone grind, so it really incorporates and becomes smooth and creamy together. And I think that's why it really infuses the flavor so well.
Right.
That process actually makes it very challenging though, because the fat in coconut contradicts the fat of cocoa butter, and the tempering is very challenging there. So it's a balance about how much coconut and fat coconut oil you can have in chocolate, and how much cocoa butter we need to have also present in the chocolate to still get a good temper.
No, I mean, when I look at it, so this is, it shows here the almonds that you just sprinkled on top of the bar after the bar was molded, I suppose. But so when you look at it, the color of the chocolate is a lot lighter than the Ghana bar, obviously. And you're right, the snap is a little bit softer, but that's expected. Yeah, you compare the two, right?
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, really fun to do. But it's still a very shiny bar. It's pretty impressive that you got this temper, you know, with the composition of the bar. So I listened to the soft snap. The smell. Okay, so this bar, the smell is overwhelmingly delicious. To me, coconut pudding. Like, it's coconut. Coconut is so warm, and you know, it's still it's just pure coconut. So at first, I expect something. It makes me expect something kind of sweet and coconutty. But so that's when I smell it. But when I taste it, let me do this again now. To me, it's a really interesting bar because it is so not sweet like I expected. Sure, it's sweet. It's not a bitter dark chocolate, but the Sierra Leone chocolate that you're using is so assertive and present. Right away, it just brings the balance, like, perfect. The coconut is not at all, what's the word? Yeah, you know, overwhelming the chocolate. It just brings it back, like, right there. And that's what I like, because I'm not necessarily, you know, like a sweet coconutty lover, but so this one to me is really a perfect balance between the creaminess, the sweetness of the coconut and the chocolate. And so I just had a piece without an almond. And what's interesting is to have a piece without an almond and to then have a piece with the almond.
Yep.
Because that is really, you know, the final flavor that you want. So the salt on the almond is pretty subtle. It's not a ton of salt, but it, you know, after having had that balance of dark chocolate with the coconut, you know how salt actually can enhance the sweetness of it's the, and salt is like also the perfect component to cut any bitterness. It's way more. It will cut the bitterness way better than any sugar. Actually, it's more the salt. And so this is a really nice addition. Because at the end, I am tasting, it's almost like a dark milk, even though there is no dairy in it.
Yeah.
Except it's not, because you still have that intense dark Sierra Leone chocolate that, you know, I love so much. The Sierra Leone chocolate, it has some like baked item kind of flavor to it. It's a very like fudge, like toast, almost marshmallow. There's something like you want to use it to bake something. You feel like a brownie or something, and so that's why, to me, it works so well with the coconut, the salty almond. I'm like eating a cake. And so I have to say that now that, you know, I've eaten it, it's also important to notice what lingers in the back of your mouth. And for me, actually, the almond lingers a lot. I mean, the coconut is still there, but it's just like a support. The almond is really now what I taste.
Yep.
Really good. Really good.
Yeah,
Really
thank you
so
so much. Matty, I owe you a box for this month. It would have never made it to Cameroon without melting, but I have a box with your name on it, so I promise you it's going to get to you somehow, I promise.
No problems. We're waiting.
Yeah. However, I'm only half sympathetic to you because you are surrounded in a most beautiful, probably part of the world on a coffee farm with fresh coffee. So you have something over us as well. Genevieve, are we? Should we talk about the coffee and how it relates, or did you want to? Yep.
Let me try it again.
Oh.
So it's you put first the chocolate in your mouth, chew it just a little bit, move it around, and then take a sip. That's a very different experience than with the Ghana chocolates. Wow. It's more, so here the coffee is like further away from the chocolate. It's more an experience of two, I don't want to say opposite thing, but it's two very different things. And to me, I feel like the coffee sort of chases away the sweet quality of the bar, which is not a bad thing, but it's just an interesting realization. I don't know if you feel that.
Yeah, since you pointed it out though, so I'll give you the credit, but I do know what you're saying. The coffee almost challenges the Sierra Leone bar more, versus the Ghana, it kind of complements and works together. It is very harmonious. Yep.
Yeah, right. But it's not a bad thing. I think it's interesting.
So
yeah,
the coffee here, Matty, what elevation are you at there? You at about 5,000 feet, or?
In feet.
Depends.
Let me see. Yeah, from around 5,500, 5,000 up to about 8,000. The higher elevations are around 2,500 meters. Yeah, the real high ones like Ndu and some peaks of Oku. Yeah.
Excellent. And so the coffee really reflects that. It has a really crisp, clean flavor, but at the same time, it has a syrupy quality. I'll call it the body, and the finish lingers. For me, it's one of my favorite it's one of my favorite coffees because of that dynamic range. The initial kind of lemon acidity that is there, then is completely met with, and not challenged by, but I will say kind of overtaken by a really nice syrupy, almost molasses caramel flavored coffee.
I wanted the brand Cameroon Boyo to stand out, and why we chose Boyo is because the first farmer who gave us coffee under this new model came from the Boyo division. So we said we're going to brand it Cameroon Boyo, but it comes from the Oku is from Cameroon Bui, is from Bui division, and we have my coffee is from Cameroon Mezam, it's Mezam division.
Yeah.
So
it's all from all
everything. Yeah. But as we build up these relationships, it'll be the actual village that will matter more at the end of the day than the region.
Yeah, very true, especially with quality and small lots. So
right. Yeah.
Well, I want to just kind of close by thanking you both so much, and bringing so many different qualities to our MokaBox unboxing. And the truth of it is, we, as passionate and in love with small batch coffee and chocolate as we are, it's really much more about the relationship with the farmers at origin and our passion for planting trees and really working in West Africa. but that's only as good as the quality of our product. And that's where Genevieve and Joe, who just walked by me, and the whole team at Moka really focuses full time on quality craft production, small batch production. Because if we don't have quality and the market doesn't respond well, then our humanitarian mission won't have any fuel to keep going. And so both of you bring such a, kind of a different side of the industry. And this was a lot of fun. This really fed my soul. And it's a great way to celebrate our 5th anniversary month here at Moka. And we're so honored to have Genevieve helping guide our tasting process, as we as manufacturers need her expertise, and you, Matty, to be our partner overseas, helping ensure we have quality coming in. So thank you both so much.
Thank you, Jeff.
Well,
Happy anniversary.
thank you.
Thank you.
And you were a great animator to the explanation of Genevieve, because the way you were eating those chocolate bars, I can tell you, I just felt so hungry.
It's true. I felt so bad that Matty didn't have a bar in front of me.
I know.
Yeah.
But anyway.
We'll change that for next time, I promise. So.
All right, no problem.
Cool.
No problem. So I'm very patient, as you can tell.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Just want to thank you again, and everyone at home, thank you so much for being a supporter of MokaBox. This was our July unboxing. Hope you love what you're probably tasting this week as your boxes are showing up. And if you have any problems with melt, let us know. We just reinvented our packaging, so it's 100% recyclable, reusable, or decomposable. So we're excited about that, but give us feedback on our packaging, please. And yeah, keep with us, keep supporting MokaBox. And if you have any questions, just hit reply to any of your emails and we'll answer them personally. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your week.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.